Sustainability Karma, a podcast series on sustainable development, sustainability, and ESG, or environmental, social, and governance.
Welcome to this session on COP30 outcomes and the road ahead. I am Naina Gautam, editor of Sustainability Karma, which is India's first and only such program on sustainable development on All India Radio. It's my privilege to welcome three stalwarts in the sustainability domain in India and abroad. We have with us Eric Soleham, former executive director of United Nations Environment Program. He's one of the best known green leaders globally. He's equally famous in India. Then we have Richard Rekhi, vice chairman of Grant Thornton Bharat. He's one of the best known thought leaders in consultancy in India. He is equally famous globally. Santhosh Jayaram. He is currently Adjunct Professor of Practice at the School of Sustainable Futures, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham. He is one of the most famous sustainability practitioners in India who has made a mark globally too. Let me begin by inviting Santhosh Jayaram to deliver his address.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Naina. Just I was listening to the earlier presenters before. You asked me to kind of talk about the outcomes of the COP and the masterclass, which I am presenting in terms of the role of standards in the world of sustainability. And I start that masterclass by an adaptation of my view of Amartya Sen in the book of Idea of Justice, where Amartya Sen says that if you want to deliver justice, which he says as nyaya to the society, there are two things which are required, which is niyat, the intention, and niti, which is, where he mentions niti as is institutions, regulations, standards. These are the things you require. So it is not just enough that you have the intention, which is the niyat alone, which will deliver justice to society. It is the niti as well. So it's both the niyat, the intention, as well as the strong kind of policies as well as standards, which are both required. And that's kind of the role which sustainability standards play, that even if you have the intention for you to deliver it properly, you require the standards. Now, let me connect it to the COP in this particular case. So I'll make it fast in the sense that, in the past 2-3 COPs, we have seen that finance is one of the critical areas of discussion, right? But there is a lot of talk, nothing much has happened, but that's another thing. But finance is a topic. Now let's look at finance. When you say we require finance and how the finance is deployed, how will we know, or how will we look at whether the finance is going into the right kind of places? We kind of it came out with we need kind of how do you measure adaptation? There was quite a bit of discussion on the COP30, and what the COP30 did was it came out with a set of indicators under the global goal on adaptation to help track progress. Now, if you want to track progress as well, these kind of standardized matrices and all those things are kind of required. The biggest discussion in this COP30, and I kind of sarcastically did a post saying that the final outcome was just. Now, just has many meanings, but the real thing is just transition. And the whole of the just transition, when we say that we need, we have to agree to support the workers and the communities, because when you're moving towards a low carbon economy, there are quite a bit of people who are going to get impacted, and how do you get a kind of a fair transition for them? And when we are talking about such kind of things as well, these are standards. You require the kind of standardizations and this thing. So the sustainability standards do help in all these ways relating to the COP30 as well. But beyond it, in the masterclass, what I'm discussing is about 10 streams of sustainability standards. I'm talking about process standards, disclosure standards, thematic standards, labeling standards, benchmark standards, product footprint standards, impact measurement standards, sector specific standards, ethical standards, finance and investment standards. So there is a whole family of standards under the sustainability standards itself. And the idea is that I'll go back to where I started with, borrowing from my adaptation from Amartya Sen, is that we might have good intentions, but those good intentions, for it to precipitate as good to the planet as well as to the people, we require niti, and these niti, one part of the niti is having these kind of standards, and that is what the masterclass would be addressing. So I'll stop there. Thank you.
Thank you, Santhosh Jayaram, for setting the context. I am now pleased to invite Richard Rekhi to deliver his address.
Basically, Santosh has already covered the COP30 and some of the issues which came. It's basically saying things have not moved too much, and we heard from the earlier speaker, things are being spoken, but nothing is being actioned. So the way I look at it is very clear, because I was involved very much into the corporate governance when it first came in. I find that this decade is going to be the decade for climate responsibility. I think it is going to be when uh, climate action today is no longer a CSR, but it is a corporate dharma. It will have to be followed in not only in ticking the box, but in actually principle. It is about embedding climate risk and opportunity into enterprise strategy. It cannot be a bolt-on strategy. It has to be part of the main strategy. The question that boards must ask is, are we climate ready and not just compliance ready? What boards are doing, are we compliance ready? They need to move from there. Our domestic climate risk, we've all seen it: floods, droughts, heat, monsoon variability, rain coming at any point of time. These are all impacting supply chains, workforce productivity, agriculture, energy systems. So corporate India must lead on adaptation and resilience planning, low carbon manufacturing, energy transition pathways seriously, and sustainable finance access. So this big problem in India is sustainable finance. And also what I find some companies are doing, they're just buying carbon credit. They just do what they want and they buy carbon credit and they feel they've ticked the box there. It's not going to work like that. And then responsible behaviors by each of us. But I think the more important is that climate is shifting the entire cost center to a growth engine. Many corporates are publishing sustainability reports but in my view, they lack credible uh, decarbonization pathways. The data is not very reliable. The supply chain visibility is not there fully. The full supply chain visibility I'm talking here. And board level climate literacy. How much do the board actually know about it to be able to look at it? So sustainability needs to move from the corp communication desk to the CFO's dashboard, to the boardroom agenda, and the CEO scorecard. So standards which Santosh spoke about are just the beginning in my view. It is to create comparability. Regulation creates discipline, but culture actually creates conviction. If you have it embedded in your culture, how are decisions made, how is risk assessed, how our leaders are evaluated, how are supply chains chosen. The future will favor companies that treat climate action as part of their main strategy, and that is where it is going. And I just want to close with a few comments. This decade will be remembered for one of the two things: either the years when climate risk overwhelmed us, or the years when human courage and corporate leadership changed that trajectory. Corporate India stands at that pivotal point. Let us commit to three things: integrity in disclosure, ambition in action, and collaboration at scale. It can be done by one person. So it has to be the government, the academia, with the communities and the corporates, and above all, the next generation. If we get this right, we won't just build sustainable companies, we will build a sustainable civilization, because people keep talking about the planet is endangered. In my view, planet is not endangered. It is the humans who are endangered. So I think we should know the reality. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Richard Rekhi, for sharing those much needed words from your experience. I am now pleased to invite Eric Soleham to deliver his address.
A very good afternoon to everyone in India. Namaste, namaskar. There are some Tamils in the room. Vanakkam. Happy to be with you. I'm speaking to you from France. Look, a month ago, I was visiting the Indian state of Andhra Pradesh. In Andhra Pradesh, the Greenco Group have set up something absolutely spectacular. That is the largest integrated solar, wind, and hydropower facility in the world. There's nothing like this in the United States of America or in Europe. Only in China you can find similar developments. It works like this in daytime when Andhra Pradesh is blessed with a lot of sunshine. They use the sunshine to pump up the water in the hydropower plant, and then they release the water in night time, and then they have 24 hours of solar and hydropower energy to power the grid. In Andhra Pradesh, this beautiful plant is 6.5 gigawatt. As an example, that's double the entire hydropower production of Nepal, is as much as the entire grid in Nigeria, functioning grid, which is the largest nation in Africa. And whatever way you want to compare it, it's large, large, large. And even better news, next year, Greenco Group will set up a similar facility in Karnataka, then in Madhya Pradesh, then in Rajasthan and in UP. So this is the start of an enormous drive into pump storage hydropower and solar and wind energy in India. And there is nothing like this in the West, so India is leading. When we discuss the climate talks in, say, Berlin, we focus in the wrong direction. It's true that the diplomacy leads basically at the moment nowhere. There's no major breakthroughs in the diplomacy. The lead is not in the diplomacy. The lead is in business, in the economy, where a lot is happening. There are two major global shifts which people don't understand. One is the shift from diplomacy to business as the main driver of climate action. And the other shift is from the global West to the global South. If I asked where to go for good environment practice, I would say you go to Brussels, you go to Paris, you go to Berlin. Ask the same question today, I would say you go to Beijing, you go to Delhi, you go to Jakarta, because Asia and the global South is now in the lead. I spoke about what's happening in Andhra Pradesh, but move on to Tamil Nadu. I just visited the new eco circuit in Tamil Nadu. That is 7 different protected areas between Chennai and Rameshwaram. Rameshwaram is where you can watch across the strait to Sri Lanka. It's a dugong protection area, it's a turtle protection area, it's an international bird observatory center, it's a mangrove, huge mangrove forest protection area. And India is very well poised to be in the lead. I mean, India comes with a philosophy which is very green. All major thought system of the world speaks about environment, but hardly anyone speaks as much about the environment as the Hindu Dharma. Look to all Indians, they venerated nature. The entire thought system is about nature. It's about nature to such an extent that all Indians made God half human, half animal. Ganesh, half elephant, half human, but full God. Hanuman, half monkey, half human, but full God. There can hardly be any thought system where you integrate man or humans with nature to such an extent, and it gives India an advantage in the thinking. Added, India also has a prime minister and a political leadership which really put environment front and center. As in many conferences, Prime Minister Modi hardly ever speaks about global climate talks. He's not really interested in that. He very rarely speaks about the mission. His topic is how can India go green and grow prosperous at the same time? How can India, 1.5 soon billion people out of poverty, create a large, beautiful middle class, shine on the international scene by integrating ecology and economy into one? Western and basically leaders all over the world should learn from this message because it's an appealing message. But many middle-sized companies, Greenco, Acme, Renew, you can mention them all, and a huge number of startups are now driving business in a green direction in India. The other giant of the global south, which of course is China, is even further ahead. China in May this year added 93 gigawatt of solar energy to the grid. That's in 1 month, China added more than any nation in human history, except China itself and the United States of America, has ever produced. So this is enormous. The largest solar plants in China is, like, as I said, like oceans. You see solar panels in every direction. They just developed a new windmill, which is one windmill is 50 megawatt. Well, that means 20 windmills can make 1 gigawatt. That's as much as the largest hydropower plant we have back home in my nation, Norway. And the largest companies in China are far ahead. The biggest solar company in China is called Tongwei. They make more renewable energy or solar cells than any nation in the world except China. So if you had a ranking, it would be 1, China, 2, Tongwei, 3, United States of America, 4, India and Germany in the ranked nations in the world. So India and China has now moved to the global lead, and this is very good. These are the two largest, most populous nations in the world. They're also the two fastest growing nations in the world, and China is growing at 5% from a bigger base. India is growing at 7%. So it's a lot of growth, and it's now largely green growth. And this should inspire the rest of the world to follow suit. Look, if you look on this in the context of sustainable development goals, there are 17 sustainable goals made by the UN. But in reality, there are 3: peace, people, and planet. I spoke about people and planet. We can go green and we can go prosperous. We can go green and improving education and health and make life better for people while we protect the planet much better. Thank you so much, John Dravid.
Thank you, Eric Solehem. It's time for now to release the much awaited Santhosh Jayaram Masterclass on the role of sustainability standards building trust through transparency. This masterclass is the first in a series of Sustainability Karma masterclasses curated by Pratik Raj, Associate Professor of Business Management and Health Sciences at University College London. Thank you, Pratik. I will again request Santhosh Jayaram, Richard Rekhi, and Eric Solehem to say a few words about the Sustainability Karma Masterclass and announce the release of the masterclass. Santhosh Jayaram, please begin.
So it's a privilege that you could bring in Eric as well as Richard as part of this release, because these are two people whom I admire a lot. Eric, from the days when I used to live in Colombo, he will know what I'm saying. So from those days, very early part of my career, I admired him for the work he has done in Sri Lanka. And of course, post that, it's a rarity to have a politician talk about sustainability so passionately. And of course, Richard, he has been a leader to look up for me always, and a person who really taught me how valuable the higher purpose in professional world is, and the role of culture. So I think it's a real privilege to have both of them here as part of the release, and I sincerely hope that this particular masterclass helps in decluttering, because I always hear the complaint that there are too many standards, which one to choose and all those kind of things. I sincerely hope that this masterclass would help in kind of decluttering and to decide as to what kind of standard follow when they are looking into the sustainability. So I'll stop there.
Richard Rekhi, kindly say a few words and announce the release of the masterclass.
Okay, so I don't think you could have got a better guy than Santhosh to actually do this masterclass. He's a practitioner who has actually practiced this and you see, the one thing is academic part of it, and the other part is actually helping companies get there. So I don't think you got a better person than him. But the one point I will leave here, just one thing which I will say, Santhosh, I'm sure your points are covering while you'll go through this, which standard to take and which standard is a better one to look at. But I think the higher purpose is definitely something that we should bring back to the table. We have lost it along the way. We at KPMG, when I was there, we relaunched it, and it actually was the glue which bound the firm together. So just to explain to you, higher purpose is something beyond money. It's beyond your compensation. It is something much higher than that when people live. So if climate change gets embedded into the culture of people, I'm sure it will go a long way. Yeah. Thank you. And all the best. All the best for your masterclass. All the best for.
Thank you so much. Eric Soleham, your turn for a few words and announce the release of the masterclass.
No, look, I can only endorse this really from my heart. I think it's wonderful. We need many, many more people, and particularly young people, to join the fight for climate justice and to solve climate problems and to protect Mother Earth much better. India is front and center of this, the most populous nation in the world, and with a huge number of benefits or strength, which I spoke about earlier. So this is just wonderful. Let me just give two small pieces of advice. When we speak about the environment, let's make it joyful, interesting, fun, not boring in such a way that people turn off. Because if we don't make it exciting, we won't get sufficient amount of people with us. And the other is, let's make sure that even if this is for young people, let's make sure that environment is not just a cause for the, let's say the young and trendy in Bengaluru, Hyderabad, but that environment is also an issue for the industrial coal worker in Jharkhand or for the old farmer in Bihar. Let's make it a case for everyone. Every person in India and the world has a heart for the environment. Let's tap into it and mobilize everyone, not just some parts of the people.
Thank you very much and congratulations, Santhosh Jayaram. I am grateful to Eric Soleham, Richard Rekhi, Santhosh Jayaram for joining us. I would also like to thank Rajiv Tikku for his contribution.
Thanks a lot, and I'm really grateful to Eric and Richard Rekhi and Santhosh Jayaram for making it possible to bring it together. And thank you, Nana. Thanks a lot.
Now we will play a short clip from Masterclass.
Greetings to all of you, and welcome to this masterclass on building trust through transparency, how sustainability standards enable it. It's also interesting because you picked this topic at a period when the interest around the whole of the subject space is at its peak. At the heart of this model lies the recognition that justice is not an abstract or a pure legal notion. It is something which is lived and experienced. And that's how Professor Amrita Vishwa puts it. But what I did was I took that and adapted this to make this kind of a framework where I integrate three concepts, which is Niyat, which is nothing but intention, Nidhi, which are the rules, the institutions, the standards, etc., and Nyaya, which is the realized justice. Slide emphasizes that justice requires both the right intention as well as the right systems. So it is in that note I will get into the importance of the standard in the sustainability world. I've put together the ways by which the sustainability standards add value. So let's go back to the slide. And you will find that they provide a common framework to start with. So what I try to do here is that I have tried to bucket them into various categories of standards. And here you can see there are 10 buckets which I have arranged those standards. There are a huge selection of regulatory standards. When I look into the whole of the sustainability standards evolution, initially when we look into the past, it was mostly voluntary. By attending to this session, you have acquired a sense of importance to the sustainability standards and how they can be used, or how it can drive the future of sustainability. So thank you all.
The complete masterclass will be available tomorrow onwards on our YouTube handle Sustainability Karma. We will separately have a live interaction with Santhosh Jayaram. The date of the session will be announced soon. Thank you all.
We hope you like this program. We look forward to your feedback on our WhatsApp number 9818120554. For participation in this program, write to us at sustainability.karma@gmail.com. Looking forward to meet you again at the same time next week with a new episode and a new guest. Till then, goodbye from all of us. Sustainability Karma.